So welcome to Katowice, the heart of Poland's Silesian region, if I've said that right. Once an industrial powerhouse back in the day full of depressing coal mines and depressing steelworks, it's transformed itself, and I'm here to see what it's got to offer. Of course, when I decided to visit Poland again, I could have visited places like Krakow, Warsaw, or even Gdansk, but I chose this place, Katowice, because until a few weeks ago, I've never even heard of it. So today, as I wander around, I'm going to try to show you some of the architecture and a little bit of the history of this town. Join me as we walk around Katowice and decide whether it was worth visiting. Right, good morning from Katowice. There's my hotel, the Mercure, nice hotel and a really good location in the centre. And looking around here, this is not what I expected Katowice to look like. Not with its heritage of coal and steel and heavy industry. This looks really modern. Look at it. We've had a bit of rain this morning, but now I'm going to head to Rynek. I apologise for my mispronunciation of any Polish words. It's like the central square. Look at these buildings. You can see the heritage of Katowice. So this is the central market square from the 19th century. It's been rebuilt so many times, but this is the latest incarnation, built mainly by the Soviets. I mean, that building looks hideous. Skarbek, doesn't it? Billard and bowling. It's not the greatest of central squares, is it? It's not like Krakow's or Warsaw's. Anyway, let's crack on. So let me give you a little bit of information about Katowice. It's got a population of about 300,000. It's the capital of this part of Poland, the Silesian region, if I've pronounced that right. So I've discovered that Poland, or maybe just this city, is one of those places where even if there's no traffic, no trams, it's completely clear, and it's absolutely clear, people wait for it to turn green. They do not go if it's red. So there's a few spots of rainfall. I've come to, reportedly, Katowice's most pretty street, Mariacka Street. Have I pronounced that right? Probably not. So this is St Mary's Church, otherwise known as the Immaculate Conception of the Blessed Virgin Mary, and it's one of the oldest churches in the city. Well, let's go in. Beautiful window. And a holy man with a skull by his foot. Now look at this beautiful building. That is stunning. Look at the architecture on that. But now I'm going to head to a monument that has got great significance for the city of Katowice. When I was looking for places to see in this city, I looked online, couldn't really see anything, so I went onto ChatGPT and I typed in, give me a walking tour of Katowice, and it did. And that's what I'm doing, I'm just following what ChatGPT said. So, looks like I'm passing the university. Some people getting the photographs taken there. Interesting statue. Look at that. Wow. Well done, mate. Best dressed man in Katowice. And look at the contrast between that super modern skyscraper and the old apartment blocks built during communism. A complete and common fixture of any country in the former Eastern Bloc. Look at this. This is the Silesian Insurgents Monument. It's in memorial to 3 insurgent uprisings by the local Poles against the Germans in 1919, 1920 and 1921. I think they ultimately failed, but they built these in commemoration during the Soviet times, I think in the 1960s. They are really good. feast your eyes on Katowice as the thunder starts. There's the communist era buildings. Don't know what that is. And that is the flying saucer. So this is spodek, which I think is Polish for saucer. Jesus. Better get undercover. Well, this is just 5 minutes later and I've taken refuge underneath the flying saucer. Look at this. How fitting. Can you hear that noise? It's coming from the UFO. It's the like the sound on that Steven Spielberg film, Three Encounters of a Third Kind or something. It's lunchtime. That's what it's signifying. Not that the aliens are invading. You don't often see this sort of design on British shop fronts in a city, but I'm heading down here to what I've read is the largest cathedral or the largest church in Poland. But along the way I found this. This is a monument to some Polish scouts, some young lads who tried to battle off the Germans. So the Germans invaded Poland in the Second World War, and a lot of the troops that were based around here went over to Krakow to defend that city, but there were a few left here, including these scouts, like 14-year-old boys, and they shot a few Germans. So the Germans rounded them all up, shot them, even though they were like young kids. Well, look at this. The thunder, the rain, the clouds have gone and the sun is out and it's 29 degrees. Let's just walk through this. It is nice. That is nice. Nice and cooling. And as I wander along, I've noticed that, I can't be sure, but I reckon I am probably the only tourist, or one of very few tourists in this city. I reckon everyone's Polish. Everyone who I speak to, they address me in Polish, they assume I'm just Polish. So the Cathedral of Christ the King is a Roman Catholic and it's the largest cathedral church in Poland. Feast your eyes. Look at that. That is huge. When I saw some pictures online, I thought, it doesn't look that special. It didn't look that big, but obviously it's huge. Huge. Right, let's go in. Look at that. Just opposite the church, someone has tied or has positioned a raven on a balcony, I'm guessing to scare away pigeons. What a good idea. So I think these flags here must be like the local Silesian flag, this region, or maybe the flag of Katowice. But I'm heading now to the Parliament building. And there it is. Look at that. Parliament building. Wow. That is a grand building. Just in front of it, statue of this guy here. Despite the heat, I'm going to take a lengthy 23-minute walk to see some of the industrial heritage of this city. It's the Salaan Museum, and apparently it's really good. I don't usually go to museums, I find most of them boring, but let's have a look. Let's see if I find this one interesting. Look at this little bridge. Was this part of it, or has someone actually stuck this broken glass on? Salaan Museum, main entrance. Right, let's do it. Let's do a museum. This whole museum is a former site of a coal mine, which is how this city made its fortune back in the day. Damn, there's a faint hope it was being closed, but no. Ooh, nice model of it. Look at that. Well, guess what? Major museum fail. I didn't even get in. I was going through like the scanner things, and there was two guys there, and I had to go through the metal detector, put all my stuff in the tray. Beep. So like scanning me, and they were like, "Oh, you got something in your pocket?" I did. I had like a 2 zloty coin, so I put that in the tray. Went through again. Beep. And they went, "Something else." I went, "What?" Because I had nothing else. They went, "In your pocket." So I got out like this bit of paper with like a map of the city on, put that in the tray, went through, beep, and so on and so on and so on, to the point where I thought, forget this, and I just picked up my stuff and I left. That's where I am. Major museum fail, but at least we've seen a little bit of it. Instead, you see that building with like a bit jutting out? Well, that's the Courtyard by Marriott. I'm going to go in there because it's got a really good view apparently from the top. I'm going to get a drink, cooling Polish lager. I'm going to savour the sight. Let's go. And look at the view. You can even see the Spodek, the flying saucer there. How much is this going to cost? So a pint of beer, 32 Polish zloty, which is about £6.28. Not cheap, but not that extortionate for this view. Look at how posh this looks. That is a huge, sprawling Polish city. Right, here it is, Mayer. That is nice. And there are some Polish zlotys to pay it. 20 zlotys is worth about £4. So I'm back in the market square with the trams rattling around. And let's go back to that question I asked right at the beginning. Is it worth visiting Katowice? If you've never been to Poland, I would say no. Go to Gdansk, go to Warsaw, go to Krakow. But if you have been to those places, or you want to travel to somewhere a little bit off the beaten track, then Katowice might be the place for you. I'd say in the UK it's the equivalent of somewhere like Manchester. Manchester's not a city that people rush to visit, but when they do, they probably think, oh, this is quite nice. And that's the same as Katowice. It's definitely worth a visit if you want to go somewhere off the beaten track. Just don't get ChatGPT to do your route. It takes you off on a weird zigzag route that doesn't even make sense. Don't do it. So that is it. Goodbye from Poland, because tomorrow I'm going to the only country in Europe I've never visited, Andorra. See you then.